Hey guys, welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 Alox 93mm Swiss Army knives that are available right now, either on Amazon or on the Victorinox website. All 5 are absolutely excellent, 5 of my sort of personal favourites. It did take me a while to sort of narrow this down to 5, as there is a lot of them that I do really like. But right off the bat we're going to start with an honourable mention, as I couldn't do it to 5, which is the Victorinox Swiss Army 2. So you can see, like all these ones, it has the pressed Alox scales with the brass pins, and you have the back spacer spring there as well. And this is a 2-bladed one, hence Swiss Army 2. You have the main sort of spear point blade on there, and as well as that you do get this little tiny recurve or sort of half hawk blade. Really useful for opening packages. It's what I really use this one for. Great package opener, letter opener, but you can really get that tip in and pull it back, and with some control that you're only going to be having so much of the blade in, so you're not going to damage what's inside. So this is my honourable mention at number 6, the Victorinox Swiss Army 2. So on to the top 5. So at number 5 we have the Victorinox Farmer, and this is a 3-layer design. You can see you have the standard sort of layout of the Alox scales. All of these will look the same on the scale side. The 3 springs, of course, and the fantastic Victorinox fit and finish. Again, you have the pins and the blank slate at the back where you can get it engraved. Sometimes if it's a special edition, you might have the year put in there, or some of them even have Victorinox in there, but most of the time they do come plain. So this one, what makes this the Farmer, is we have the standard front tool opening layer of the can opener and small flathead screwdriver, along with the wire stripper, cap lifter and larger flathead screwdriver. Next up we have the saw blade. Really aggressive full size saw blade there on this one. No half stop, no lock on these. Of course, these are all UK legal. Great for any sort of, well, farmer, as it says, any outdoorsman, anyone going camping, things like that. It has pretty much the tool set you're going to need. You know, you can open your cans, lift up your bottle caps, cut up some wood for the fire. You also have a punch on there as well, if you wish to sort of do some whittling, or if you want to start a drill hole, anything along those lines. Punch a hole in a belt, all those things are good for that. And then, of course, as well, you have the main blade on there. Absolutely fantastic one by Victorinox. As I was saying, it's been really hard for me to sort of put these in a top 5. It's taken me quite a while to get this video going and to sort of get the top 5. I've known which of the 5 for a while, but to put them in an order from 5 to 1 has been very difficult. But of course, here is the Farmer. Next up, at number 4, we have the Victorinox Electrician. And off the bat, you'll notice this one doesn't have a keyring, so you get the smooth either side. Does make it for a really nice carry, really comfortable in the hand. There's no sharp edges of the... Sometimes you can get this little corner here, can be a bit annoying when you're trying to use it. It does dig in a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying it's painful, but you can feel it's there. So with the Electrician, you'll see that's not there. It makes it very comfortable, nice and smooth, symmetrical both ends. Again, the pressed Alox scales. And on this one, you get the cap lifter, the wire stripper, and the larger flathead screwdriver. Of course, that's on a half stop. And what makes this the Electrician, instead of the can opener, you have this sort of sheep's foot blade with the wire stripper there. Really nice, versatile little electrician's blade. Perfect for box opening, stripping wires, all the little tasks you would need if you're an electrician, along with many others. That isn't on a half stop, as a normal Victorinox knife. It's just a cam tang, with the only tool being on a half stop, of course, is the cap lifter. What else we have on here is the larger spear point blade. Please excuse my fingerprints on all these. These are all working knives. I do use all of these ones, so they're going to not be in pristine, clean condition. And then, of course, you have the punch on the back as well. So a really nice 2-layer Alox design from Victorinox. The Electrician has been one of my favourites for a very long time. Has been out for a while, but I still see it as one of the unique ones with that sort of sheep's foot blade. Really wish they would sort of integrate that into other ones. Maybe if they were to replace... I know they did a model where they replaced the punch and had the sheep's foot blade this side. That would be quite cool. But we'll see what happens in the future. Number 3, the Victorinox Electrician. Sorry, number 4. Coming in at number 3 is the Victorinox Cadet. So this is the Alox version of the Recruit, which is just a smaller version really of the Spartan. Excuse me. So we're looking at the same sort of tool set really. You do have the can opener with the flathead screwdriver. All of these obviously are a little bit smaller than you would get on the other ones. Again, that cap lifter, wire stripper, and the larger flathead screwdriver. So these ones are all 93mm. This Cadet we're looking at, well, we'll do the equation for you. So 93mm equates to right about 3.6, 3.7 inches. And then you're looking at the Cadet, which comes to about 3.25. But if you want to count in that, the sort of keyring hole, you get nearly 3.5, 3.4 maybe. So a little bit smaller than the other one, but it is a sort of very useful and versatile one, and one that does spend a lot of time in my pocket as well. Again, this is a 2-layer one. You have the can opener on there with the small flathead. We have the large flathead, the cap lifter, and the wire stripper. You do get a spear blade on there as well, slightly smaller again because of the size. So cutting edge of this one, we're looking, oh sorry, a full length, we're looking at about 2.5, and then a cutting edge, we're looking at about, well, just over 2.1, 2.2. And then on the back of that one, instead of a punch or a small blade, you do have a nail file with a nail cleaner on there as well. Pretty aggressive file on there, it does work very well. Occasionally, you know, when you're pulling open a slip joint, you might chip a nail or something. I tend to use this just to sand it down a bit so it's not so rough. So there we go, number 3, Victorinox Cadet. Down to the top 2, this was probably the hardest one for me. There's 2 that I really love. One of them's newer than the other one, and I've had it not as long. But I just, for the versatility of the tool and what's on it, I do think it deserved the number 1 spot. But we'll go with number 2, which is the Pioneer X. So you can see I have put a lanyard on there just because these are one of the ones I carry the most. You do have that keyring on there. This of course is back to being the 93mm. Again, the pressed aluminium scales with the brass pins and the seal one in there, which I believe is a newer thing they're doing, because some of the older ones do have the brass in the middle as well. You see that there, and you can see the difference here. So the Pioneer X is basically a Spartan but with an additional tool. So again, you get the same sort of tools. You get the can opener and the small flathead. You get the large flathead, the cap lifter, and the wire stripper. You get the large blade on there. Again, ignore the fingerprints, it's a user. And then on the back, you get the punch. And then what makes this the Pioneer X over the Pioneer is the addition of the scissors, which for me is an essential for any sort of Swiss Army knife that I carry. I really feel like I need the scissors. I do use them a lot, especially in the UK. It can be a little bit less intimidating, rather than saying if you're going to open a package and you open up this, what they would class as a huge knife, even though we know it's not, it's sub 3 inches. They're less likely to be offended if you're pulling out a little tiny pair of scissors than you are pulling out a knife. Crazy, I know, but that's just what it's have to deal with here in the UK. But again, this is a 3-layer Victorinox, and that does include the scissors on there, which makes it a sort of essential for me, as I mentioned. One that if any of you guys are looking to get into Alox or Swiss Army knife and you want something a bit more durable like the Alox, I really do recommend any of the ones that are X with the scissors on there. Absolutely fantastic tools. Love this Pioneer X, it's always in the pocket. Recently though has been sort of overtaken by my newest sort of acquisition, and that is what has really sort of hit the number 1 spot for me recently, and that is the Farmer X. So we looked at the Farmer earlier on, which is up here. So it's very similar to that, just with the addition of the scissors. But as I mentioned, having the scissors really does make it an extra tool. It takes it that sort of next step above. You can see this is actually the largest Alox one I own, which is a 4-layer. But interesting thing about the Alox, even though this is a 4-layer, it's actually not as wide as a 3-layer cellar door version, because obviously you don't have the liners and the scales. The Alox work as a liner and scales, so it is actually a bit slimmer, which does make it a bit more of a sort of a carryable pocket knife. So 4-layer 91mm would be a bit too thick for me, but this 4-layer is pretty much a perfect size in the Alox. Not too chunky, not too heavy, great all-round carry. But again, you have the standard tool set on the front, small flathead and the can opener, the large flathead, the cap lifter and the wire stripper. And then what makes this the Farmer X as well, so you have the saw blade, which would have made it just the Farmer. Again, that full-size saw on there as well, with the wonderful sort of satin grind on there. And then being the Farmer X is the addition of the scissors, which sort of makes this, for me, the most sort of versatile Alox one I have in my collection. You have that sort of outdoorsy feature of the saw for camping, and then as well you have the scissors for more of that office environment. It does make it sort of an all-rounder in my opinion. But as well as that, we have the good old spear blade on there. Excellent sort of lockup on these as well. Really enjoy the lockup. Something Victorinox do really well. The pull isn't really heavy. I'd say this is probably about a 6 max to open it. But once it's locked up, it's definitely like a 7+ to get it to close. Just a really great thing they've managed to do. Easy to open, but hard to close. Perfect, really, for the UK market. And then on the back, finally, we have the punch. Again, fantastic tool. Good for doing scoring. Maybe you don't want to cut all the way through. That point there is great for scoring. Doing score cuts, things like that. You can see there. Maybe if you want to just put a hole in a new belt, things like that. Really useful for. So there we go, guys. That is my sort of top 5 Alox 93mm that's available right now to purchase, with the addition, of course, of the honourable mention, the Swiss Army 2. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. And stay tuned for more exclusive content. There will be a giveaway coming up very soon. I've just hit that 1,500 subscribers. So anyone that subscribes already and supports the channel, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again. Peace out.